Hello, everyone. We are back.
Woo.
Hello.
It's been a minute.
I know we skipped a couple
We
weeks.
skipped a couple weeks. You guys all missed us, didn't you? We can tell.
Mm.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
We were just talking about the eclipse, everybody. It's a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse? Solar eclipse. Solar eclipse of the heart. I can't tell.
Yeah.
It's a song from the 80s. I don't know if you guys know it.
Yeah, I don't know. No idea.
All right, we are going to talk about first-time homebuyers today. So, Denise, kick us off.
That's my favorite topic. I love first time home buyers. But yeah, I mean there's a lot of it's a little scary to get started and it's like, okay, what do I need to know? What the heck? What do I do? Um and I think it can be very simple. So we just gotta simplify it and go with it. And a lot of things are changing, so it's always good to be informed. Yeah. But
It's better to own a home than not own a home.
Absolutely. Really quick. It is.
oh.
I'm Sarah. You're Denise. And we have a new person, Natalie Nicholas. She's a new agent on Futa Home Team.
Yeah.
So say hi to Natalie. Yay.
Hello, everybody.
All right. So when we're talking about the fears of, when we're talking about home buying, there's always fears, especially with first-time home buyers. And we have this great book. If anyone wants it, there's this QR code at the end you can scan. But there's 7 big fears we hear the most about buying your first home. One is I can't afford to buy a home right now. I should wait. Number 2 is I should wait until the real estate market gets better. Number 3, I don't have the money for a down payment. Number 4, I can't buy a home because my credit score isn't good. Number 5, I can't afford to buy my dream home. Number 6, I should wait and buy a home until I'm certain about my future. And number 7, I should pay off my student loans before buying a home. Have you guys all heard these kind of fears and talking to people?
Excuse
me. Oh yeah, a lot of fears, and it's more of just understanding what comes with those fears and how to address them. But yeah, I mean, obviously buying a house is scary. It can be really scary. And we just gotta know what we're getting ourselves into.
Absolutely. So Denise, why don't you start us off with that first fear? Let's talk about it.
So first one, I can't afford to buy a new home right now. And so that is just that one fear. And I think it's the main one. And it's just more of like, you think you can afford, but obviously you just have to talk to a lender and see what they say. Like if you can't afford a $500,000 home right now, what if you can afford a $400,000 home and try that? But you just never know until you actually talk to a lender and start that conversation. It's always just about starting that conversation.
I think that's the biggest thing. People have a lot of assumptions, but they don't know. I always say we want to make fact-based decisions, right? And we can't make a fact-based decision if we don't know the facts. And if you don't,
Facts,
yeah.
Sarah.
Natalie, have you had people who've had that fear that you've worked with?
Oh yeah, it's out there everywhere.
Yeah,
for sure. Especially with the interest rates and just the market being way different from when our parents were all younger.
right.
It scares people for sure.
I think it's an assumption too, because I'm glad you brought up interest rates. People say, oh, I can't afford a home because the interest rates are so high. But then Denise, to your point, I know that, what are we at? Like 6 3/4 right now. I know that sounds high, but what's your credit card interest rate? What's your auto loan interest rate, right? There's some interest rates out there that are a lot higher. Let's do the math and let's figure it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you got to run the numbers and see. Obviously, higher interest rates, they're higher than they were 3 years ago, but we'll never see 3%. So what is high to you? You just got to see what the numbers are.
Let's make it about the monthly payment. Let's not worry about the interest rate. Like, what is your budget to purchase a home, or what's your not even to purchase a home, what's your budget to pay for a home? Like, what do you pay in rent right now? What is, how much are you comfortable spending every month? And then let's work it backwards from there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I
So,
do find it a little bit easier for people if they just have that monthly payment and they're like, "Oh,
yep,
then yes, I guess I can afford a
right?
$400,000 home, you know? Like, I guess I can." So, anyway.
Exactly. Um, okay, fear number 2, I should wait until the real estate market gets better. Um, this is actually one I come across. I had a client who closed on a townhome a couple weeks ago. And when we were looking and getting ready to make the offer, she said to me, is this a good time to buy? Like, is this bad? Is this a bad time? Am I doing the right thing? And I told her, and I believe this truly, there's never a bad time to buy a home, right? Purchasing real estate is part of a long-term wealth plan, right? You're going to build some equity. But the best time to buy a home is when it's right for you, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because the market and the economy, right, is always going to go up and down. Always, right? It's just, I actually saw a stat the other day, and it's from this economist who said that if we looked at when the market crashed, which a lot of first-time home buyers remember from like their parents, right?
Mhm.
The market crashed and we've built back up, and it feels like prices have gone up, which they have, don't get me wrong. But when you look at like a trend line, the increase is we're only at like a 3 to 4% increase, like in a trend from where we were when the market went down, which I thought was super interesting. If the market would have never crashed and we would have just kept on, going from there. So don't wait, let's find out the right time for you. And Denise and Natalie can attest to this. I always say none of our clients are on our timeline. We're
Oh,
always
yeah.
on your timeline. So,
Yeah.
right? I
I
think
feel like
that's go on.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of people go off of based of, like, gut, like, if it feels good for you, then to go
Mhm.
for it, but obviously, you gotta make sure the numbers work too, to,
Right.
be realistic, but, yeah, I mean, if it feels right and it makes sense and you're comfortable with the decision and you're comfortable with the monthly payment, then that's the time that's right for you. I don't know. I don't really get when people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna wait until the market gets better." Like, what's better for you? If it's like low interest rates, you're gonna get higher prices. If it's a higher interest rates,
Right.
it's gonna be maybe a little less in pricing. But I mean, we saw it this year or last year. It didn't
Yeah.
really change. They're
Yep.
still expensive. So I don't know. It just really depends on where you are.
Exactly.
But
100%. 100%. All right. Go for fear 3, Denise.
Oh, that was I don't have the money for the down payment, which yes, of course, that goes kind of hand in hand of like, oh, I don't have the money, so no, I can't afford a home. But of course, there's a lot of down payment assistance programs. I mean, you do need a little bit of money to
Yeah.
get into a home, but some people always like, oh, I need $50,000, and I'm like, okay, hold on, let's backtrack.
Yeah.
Um, and it's not necessarily the case, but yes, of course, there's down payment assistance programs that we can look into. There's down payment assistance programs that also cover some of your closing costs that we can look into. We can always negotiate on a home and have the seller pay for the closing cost, like things like that. It's like there's ways
There's
to
options.
offset those costs. Yeah.
I think that goes back to fear number 1 and having that conversation. Like, if we don't have that conversation and we don't talk about where you're at, we can't help you
Right.
come up with that timeline. So you might want to become a homeowner, but maybe you can't do it right now. But let's have that conversation right now so that in 12 months, 18 months, or 2 years, you can do that. Whatever it's going to take, whatever it's going to take to get that done. So
Yeah. Yeah,
have
for
you heard
sure.
that before, Natalie?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you wanna hire a good agent, like someone
Right.
from the Futa Home Team, and
There
then
you go.
yeah.
All right. Fear number 4. I can't buy a home because my credit score isn't good. I think all of these keep going back to fear number 1,
I
right?
know.
Like, you have to know. You don't know until you no, right?
Mm.
So if you don't think you have a good credit score, let's get you with a lender and let's have that conversation, right? And see where you're at. And then we have lenders that like specialize in working with buyers to help them improve their credit score. Sometimes it's something that you can do in a 30-day period and turn it around. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, right? But not, not all the time. Sometimes, it can be done relatively quickly, sometimes not. I'm not a credit advisor by any means, and definitely would have to refer that out, but it's a conversation to have. And if you don't have the conversation, then you don't know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There are
Yeah.
some lenders that we work with that all lenders have systems where they're able to kind of play around with the numbers where it's like, okay, if you pay this amount off, your credit is going to go up this much. So it goes back to, getting back to the first point where it's like, you got to talk to a lender to see what
Yep.
you can do, what your options are. Sometimes you can get into a home with, it doesn't even have to be that great. Like, obviously the better the credit score, the better the rate, but sometimes it doesn't really make much of a difference. So see what that option is and like compare.
Absolutely.
But yeah, even lenders are able to help you with your credit and just kind of play around with the numbers.
Yeah, there's all these little tips of things you can do. You know, get your debt down to, like, a big thing they look at is debt to income ratio, right? So how much debt do you have in comparison to how much money are you bringing in?
Mhm.
And, if you've got some credit cards down there, this is one I do know, that if you get your balance down to 30% of what your total credit limit is, your credit score will spike. So little things like that they can help you with.
Or one thing too, a lot of people think that they need to pay off some collections for their credit to go up, and sometimes that harms you. So that's
Yeah,
when you talk to someone to see if that could even help. Because sometimes when you like pay off that collection, it's like
it hurts you.
they
Or you
your credit
close a
score.
credit card, like close a credit
Exactly.
card that hurts you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So things like that. And it's like you got to talk to someone.
I know. Natalie, have you run into clients who are worried about their credit score?
I mean, it's a situational thing, it
Yep.
happens here and there. Definitely the main umbrella thing I'm getting is it's fixable. There's
Yeah,
always a way to fix any of these problems. If you're motivated enough, it's something that can get turned around.
100%.
And it's going to benefit the rest of your life. And, not only home buying, that process, but also
Yeah.
everything else in
Yeah,
your life. You want a good credit score. It looks good on a lot of other things.
it does. It definitely
US, you need credit
Yeah, exactly.
for everything. Um,
does. Number
okay.
5.
What fear number are we?
Number
Oh,
5.
I
Yep.
can't afford to buy my dream home. So yeah, we definitely get this a lot where it's like, well, if I can't buy, a 4-bedroom home with 2 bathrooms and a really big backyard, then I don't want to buy. And it's like, or if I can't afford for that, like I'm not even going to try right now. Like I'm just going to wait to make more money, pay down debt, things like that. And it's like, if you can right now, start now. I mean, for example, like a couple that, maybe they want a big family someday, but not even yet, then just, maybe let's look into a condo or a townhome,
Mhm.
build equity and use that equity to eventually buy that 4-bedroom home. And
Exactly.
like, take those little steps where it's like, you got to start somewhere and then eventually, help you get to that dream home where it's like, okay, you can have a really big
Right.
backyard and 5 bedrooms, whatever the case may be.
I have 2 clients back in 2018, I wanna say. Um, one of them wanted to be, they were related. They were cousins. One of them wanted to be in, um, Academy 20 school district in Colorado Springs, and the other one eventually wanted to move to Castle Rock. And if they're watching this video, they'll text me later and tell me, because I love this story. I tell it all the time. We got them into, both of them, got them into houses that were smaller, not ideal, right? But worked. Okay. Worked for them to have a home. I want to say they both put less than $5,000 down in everything, down payment, closing costs, like all of it. And then they sold those houses in 2020. Okay. And took the equity from those houses. The one moved up into Academy 20, and the other one moved up into Castle Rock, where they wanted to be in, so one, I think they bought for 280. Now, again, this is 2018. Those prices aren't really there. Bought for 280, sold for 500, bought for 615 in Castle Rock. They never would have been able to do that if they didn't sacrifice for a couple years to maybe not have the perfect house, but it's the story of building wealth through real estate, right? And being able to have that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Dreams don't happen overnight, hence the word
They do
dream
not.
in this scenario. I mean,
They do not.
you gotta
So do you
work
see
on
this
it.
reflection? It's the solar eclipse outside. And
Oh, put your
yes.
glasses on.
Yes, exactly. So, all right. Fear number 6. Should I wait to buy a home until I'm certain about my future? In the book here, it says domestic future. I think that's just like, if you're single right now and you don't know if you're going to get married, or if you're dating, you don't know if you're going to get married, or if you're, going to have kids, or whatever those situations are. I feel like that kind of goes back to the example I just gave. I think of Denise, our client last year that closed on the 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo for
Yeah.
what, 212,000?
Yeah, 212.
212, which was listed at like 235.
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember.
I'm trying to show your amazing negotiation skills.
I have great negotiating skills, not great memory.
There you go. There you go. So, I feel like that's a great example though, right? Of, this client of ours is single and he's got a place, and his goal is to get the equity so he can leverage the equity, rent that place out, and then go buy another place. And maybe at that point he will be married or starting a family or whatever. Whether he buys here in Colorado or buys somewhere else, he always wants to have this place because that condo isn't going to be $212,000 forever.
Yeah. And the thing too, where, I mean, I work with a lot of first-time home buyers, and most of them are just couples or single people that don't have kids yet but are planning on having kids. And I lost my train of thought. I was gonna go. Yeah, and then they're like, okay, well, I feel stuck in the 2-bedroom condo that I have, and I want to move up to like a 3-2 single family home. And it's like, I mean, you don't have to sell it if you don't want to. We can try putting it for rent, see how that goes, and use that rental income to qualify for the new one. So you don't have to like feel stuck. There's always options. You can rent it out. Yeah, you can sell it and use that. But yeah, I feel like there's always options. I feel like people shouldn't be feeling stuck.
Well, and Natalie, I think of the first time home buyer you closed at the end of last year, right?
Yeah, I mean, her apartment rent was going up like $500. It was some ridiculous amount, and she's like, I'm ready. I'm not dealing with that again. Because she would stick there and stay there, and it's like, why? Because you're comfortable. Why not own a house? And she
And
got a
start
great
building
place.
that equity.
Yeah, in Highlands Ranch, a 3-bedroom, great with a huge backyard. It's like, yeah, I don't want to carry my groceries up to the 3rd floor every day. Like, or, no.
Yeah.
All right. Fear number 7.
7, I should pay off my student loans before buying a house. This one is interesting because, I mean, I think I saw a stat the other day. It was like 83% of homeowners have student loans. So it's like, don't quote me on that number. I think I just made that up. Just kidding. I know I saw it somewhere. It was a high number. It was a high number. And it's like, sometimes it doesn't, the lenders look at your monthly payment. So as long as like that payment isn't like $1,000 a month that you're having to pay in student loans, it might not affect you as much. But again, we don't know until we look into that number. But yeah, you certainly don't have to pay off your student loans before buying a home. I think it's just a matter of income versus, income to income ratio.
So I know that lenders look at student loans a little bit differently. and when they're looking at the debt to income ratio. And they also, the biggest thing they're looking at with student loans is that you're paying them on time, because that affects your credit. So pay your student loans on time. Don't worry about how much student loan debt you have. What if you bought a house and you could leverage that equity to pay off your student loan debt?
Boom.
Right? Boom. Mind blown. So, well, I hope we've addressed a lot of the common fears, right? And this is going to be unique to everybody. Not everyone's going to have all of these fears. And if someone does have all these fears, I think my question then is, how important is home ownership to you, right? There's some people who don't want to own a home, and that's okay. It's not what I would recommend, but that's your preference, right? But if these fears resonate with you and you want to have the conversation, that's what we're here for. We want to talk about it. We want to educate you. We want to help you get into home ownership, and we want to eliminate those fears, and we want to help you get in, with the most effective, way possible with the money that you have, right? And that comes not only through our connections with mortgage professionals, but it also comes through our negotiations and how we can negotiate on your behalf with the seller of the home that you're purchasing, right?
Yeah, we want you to get into a home feeling excited, comfortable. Yeah.
And then when you call us 3 years from then to sell it or to leverage the equity so you can buy something else, that's like one of the most rewarding things for us, is when we can see, what you've been able to do from a financial perspective through home ownership.
Yeah.
100%.
Right? Awesome. Well, perfect. What do we got coming up, Denisse?
We have Cafe y Casas at Convivio Cafe from 8 a.m. to 9. I do this every single month. And that'll be on Friday the 19th. So that's the third Friday of the month.
Perfect. I'm going to put our little QR code up.
And sometimes we don't even have to talk about real estate. We can just hang out.
Yeah, drink coffee. Right.
Talk about your fears.
And then we've got a couple webinars coming up. We're going to be talking about just a market update for the spring. That's going to be next Monday. Then we're going to talk about down payments versus closing costs, because those are two different things. And then we're also going to be talking about real estate investing and investing outside of Colorado. We've got an agent from Oklahoma that's going to join us at the end of the month to talk about investing in Colorado. So it'll be exciting. We've got a lot of fun stuff. Scan our QR code. You will get all the details. And back to us. But ladies, thank you for joining me today. Thank you to everyone who's watching this. I know we have a huge fan base.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. All right. You guys know where to find us. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.